man, how's it going, everybody? I just love this new trailer. It gets me pumping every single time when I see that. Let's say hello to the chat really quick. Who do we have here? Lucky is there. We have Nahem Khan, ISO Acrylic, and I guess a lot of other guys are watching because we have two channels going on right now, Crypto Sparbuch and KSB TV. And I want you to go to KSB TV right now and subscribe because that's where we need all the subscribers for the show that we are doing, right? Patrick, we have a lot of things going on. What is the main things that you want to talk about today?
Yeah, first of all, I also want to say hello to our audience. Hope everybody is doing good out there. Nobody is losing all his nerves or something like that because markets are extremely volatile in those weeks, and we that's why we also have like plenty to talk about. We also have a special guest here today, and then we are going to talk a little bit what's coming up in the next couple of months. For example, our golf tournament on the 5th of September in Las Vegas, the official kickoff event for the PulseCon. And then we go straight into the markets, look like where is Bitcoin heading to. We also will look over Ethereum, and then of course over our H projects, our Hex, and then some other stuff as well. Let's have a look in Hedron as well, and maybe what kind of strategies there are out. So, David, do you want to introduce our special guest of today?
Well, not right now. We have a really bearish topic right now, right? The thumbnail says, is crypto wrecked and stuff. And I think this will be also the sentiment of the stream today. But before that, let's have some fun. Let's do a little introduction. We have a lot of things going on in the Hex community. Right now, everybody has been at the Chicago Cubs game. And I've prepared a little screen share. So let's bring that up and let's watch a big case first pitch on the game. I think that's going to be fun to watch here. And then, Patrick, what do you think? Is this the way how we go through the bear market? Just having fun, staking Hex, earning every single day and representing?
I mean, I need to say that this event here, you know, that you cannot do that like from one day to the next day. So that was already like pre-planned since months and months ahead. So it wasn't that somebody like needed to cash out like yesterday or 2 days ago in order to make this possible. And it looks like Big K had like plenty of fun there. And I mean, it doesn't matter if like bear market or bull market. It's all about like getting more eyeballs. It's all about outbound messaging and this one-on-one talks. You know, crypto is a complicated topic. A lot of people don't really get it. So it's also, in my point of view, not about putting ads all over the place. It's more really hard one-on-one work where you take somebody who you like, you know, and you want to teach him about crypto, and then like those one-on-one conversations are mostly the best.
Of course, this is exactly what we will do with the million poster, right? But I think it's the Hexican lifestyle. That's what I always say. Because Kowski got to do the first pitch at the Cubs game, and who was there? All the Hex influencers and Hexicans were there. They were just living the Hex lifestyle, how I always say. So let's bring up the screen share again, then we will watch some more pictures, because here we have Big Kowski, and we see that Kalen was here as well, for example. I think I've heard in
Yeah,
the next one.
Kaylin also represented us with the KSP TV and also used the event to network a little bit and, of course, to meet all the Hexicans, because most of those Hexicans we already met throughout the 5555 Hex Tour. And can you make the picture a little bigger that I can see like who we have here? I
Here we
see
go. We
Freddy
have
Quotes, I see Maddie here, I see uh, Big
Kavana
E on the
Crypto.
picture as
We have
well.
here Hexagon
Yeah, Kavana is
720.
here. Yeah.
Jack Hex we have here with a red shirt. Freddy Quartz with his hairs. That's funny. And then, yeah,
Yeah.
Kalen. Well, I don't have too much going on here anymore. I just wanted to show you guys one more thing that I really found really interesting. And this is hexsearch.io. And if you click here, you can search for any keyword Richard Hart ever said in his live streams. And then I search for Germans, of course. And this is what I came up with. So I need to just change some settings in the screen share so we can actually hear what Richard was saying on that. I really want to do that. So give me a second here.
Yeah, sure. So hexsearch.io, you can just pull up the site and search for any keyword, you know, like when pulse chain or whatever liquidity or why is Hex
Exactly.
better or whatever, and then you will find all the things what Richard himself, the founder himself, had to say about it. So
And
you're
it's
ready?
working. It's working so good, Patrick. You cannot imagine. I searched for Germans. I searched for Audi. I searched for Avid. I found all my interactions that I ever had with Richard Hart. It was so much fun. But let's
Awesome.
listen to what Richard had to say here. Oh no, why doesn't it start? Oh, I guess it's on. I have to. Sorry, I clicked on the wrong window here. I have to select another tab. There we go. Now we are here.
All right.
Just barbecues from Germany flew to America to tour city by city. They had to fly from a whole nother country and speak in not their native languages to go educate Americans. Come on, Americans. You should be doing the stuff that they're doing. You should be traveling around teaching people and spreading the good word. It's a lot easier for you. You already live there. They had to fly to a whole new country and buy cars and, drive.
Drive, yeah, we had to drive a lot of kilometers, a lot
Oh
of
yeah,
miles.
more than 20,000 miles with Rove. And I mean, what Richard is saying here, it's exactly what we are doing right now. So a lot of OGs, when we said, okay, we want to make the 1 million Pulse Tour and we would like to have native English presenters and speakers, especially for our 1 day workshops where we have like different kinds of sessions and so on. And already lots of people from the OG community already committed and said yes, of course, when you are like near by my hometown or in my home state, then I will come by and present one of the sessions. So with our 1 million Pulse Tour, we will have the native speaking OGs presenting and teaching the people about the HR universe. It will be like a whole day of a crypto masterclass each and every event.
Maybe we can even go to KSB TV in a second because, like you said, we want to talk about our golf tournament as well. I only have one more thing to share, so let's bring up the screen share again. And this actually could also lead up then to our special guest if we want to. So, Patrick, what we see here is Hex Whalebot. And I like to have Hex Whalebot on my Twitter because then I see when there are big sells or big buys. And often somebody's saying, oh, yeah, he is out of Hex. And then I just love to click on it and check the address if it's really out. And here we see he has 300,000 in Rep BTC, no Hex anymore. I'm really happy that this player is out. But the question now is he really out? So let's copy paste his address here and put it into my favorite site to visualize stakes. Like this site is so old, isn't been updated anymore. And here you just put in the address, and for sure it doesn't have any more stakes. So
you really use this site? Because I always go with stakehex.today or with backuphex.com actually.
I know that you do that. I've traveled with you for 7 months, and yeah, hexinfo.io has always been my first site where I go to. And hexinfo.today was not really active for a long time, but I guess now he is, together with somebody else who just started being active a couple of weeks ago. And this is also our special guest. So should we bring him up?
Don't make any mistake here. So like the
No?
site hexinfo.io and the guy on Telegram who goes like with hexinfo pulse Dogecoin, those are two completely different guys.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, then I have to do some more research, I guess.
But with our special guest, you're right. So bring him on, bro.
There we have Günther. How's it going, man?
It's going great. Thanks for having me.
For sure.
Really exciting to have you on. I have seen you being more active in the Hex community than ever. I mean, you've always been a member of the Hex community. So can you maybe just do a really quick introduction of yourself, just for the new viewers, so they know?
Yeah, sure. I got into hex.com on day one. So I've been around.
So you got into hex.win, right? Like back then it was .win.
Yeah. I forgot about that domain, but yeah. I was buying Hex on day one and creating. I was already creating like a laddered stakes on day one, actually, like for years, like 1, 2, 3, 5, and 10. Like I was already thinking like long term. This is before anyone really knew about like or really understood like T-shares and all of that. But yeah, I've been around. People mostly knew about me or have known about me through like Telegram chats, because I spent hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours just helping people for free. And it was also a great learning experience for myself too, because I feel like that's sort of, it's through the chats that I actually learned how to become a multimillionaire, I think.
Nice. Well, can
Yes,
you maybe
I agree on that, because by teaching others, you get like questions where you're kind of sometimes, okay, I'm not sure like how to answer it properly, and then you do your own research that you can answer certain questions, and that's like how you adapt more and more as well, and how you increase your knowledge base.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, a lot of people, they're afraid of like Telegram chats because like there's so many scammers, or they think it's like a waste of time. But I can assure you, if you go into the right chats and you start listening to the right people and you read those chats for like 8 hours a day or 12 hours a day or 14 hours a day, and you do that for like 2 consecutive years, the probability of you becoming a multimillionaire in crypto is actually really high. You just have to find the right people to listen to. And it's hard because you got to weed through a lot of nonsense and a lot of garbage to actually find like who knows what they're actually talking about and who is just like totally full of shit.
So give me an example of a chat room you're talking about. I mean, I know like Crypto Sparbuch, the German chat room would be one example, but that's German speaking.
Yeah, well, it's what happened. What happened was, like Hex trading, for example, used to be filled with
Yeah, used to be. I know.
it used to be filled with like galaxy brains, um, and there still are a few people in there that are really, really, really smart. If you pay attention, they can help you and will help you. Um, but there was basically a brain drain, and a lot of smaller like chat groups formed and then kind of dispersed. Some of them are just kind of like I don't know, maybe not. Some of them I think are just like total waste of time, but also they're also just like fun and people are just talking about like regular stuff. But other ones, there actually is a lot of like brain power in there. Like so much. I'm in one private chat, and I won't disclose which one, but there's so much brain power that I can't even sit at the table with those guys. I'm basically like a dog, like at the foot of the table, hoping that some like breadcrumbs of knowledge fall off the table, and I can kind of just like quickly quickly lap it up.
Yeah, but how can like somebody who is new and wants to learn like get access to something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think, well, a lot of I've noticed that a lot of private chats they're just sort of like restricted, like there might not be adding members or that kind of thing. However, I would encourage people to go into like the Pulse Dogecoin chat, because there is like a few players in there that really know what they're talking about, and you could learn a lot, because you have to think like if these guys learned, if it took these guys 5 years to learn what they know, and they're good at what they do, and they have like a proven track record of success, then it would behoove the other readers or those that engage in these chats. It would behoove them to actually like listen to what they're saying, because they could really, really learn a lot. So it's good to kind of like just go in there, like no ego, just ready to learn. And there's people that are willing to teach you. Now, some people, they're also new, so they may not have all the answers. But even if people present like information that's not quite accurate, there's going to be someone that steps up and says like, actually, no, it doesn't really work like that. And then it's just like a teaching like lesson, basically.
All right, so Abid, we have plenty to talk about. With which topic would you like to start?
Well, first, I would like to start to present Günther here to the audience. We have 55 people watching. Maybe could you elaborate on your most important work that you did so far for the community? I think I leave it up to you what this is.
Yeah, I would say, honestly, I would say the most important work that I've done for the community is the giving up of the hours and chats to help people. It's more like under the radar stuff. I did also do the OA audit, which most people know me for, where I audited essentially over 3,000 addresses that I think belong to one entity, or where one entity or entities controls the private keys. So Hex has centralized ownership, which is good for price performance because somebody needs to protect the price, especially like now, right? Like people are like so afraid of the price, just like crashing. I see it 94, 95% down from the top, and they're just emergency end staking or dumping millions of hex. But the fact of the matter is, it's actually controlled by a much larger entity, and that entity has a high percentage of all tokens in circulation.
The reason why I brought this up, of course, you knew that I wanted to talk about the OA audit is because Patrick wants to talk about why we are all wrecked in crypto, why the prices are going down, and maybe wants to go into the chart analysis with you as well. So should we go ahead? Should we look into some charts here?
Sure.
Already? Yeah, I mean, okay, should we can do that if you want to. We can also like start with some pulse chain speculation, or
Yeah.
are we doing that in the end?
I think we will just jump on and off of charts anyway. So just let's bring something up so we have something nice to look at. And then, of course, we will always also start talking about pull chain speculation.
Okay, then let's start with the charts. And today I would like to give like a little overview of the bigger picture, and would like to start actually with Bitcoin, because it's still the biggest and most known cryptocurrency out there. Still has like an impact on a lot of cryptocurrencies. And I updated a little bit like my chart picture, and I'm in the weekly chart right now. um, First of all, I want to, yes, no, I'm sorry that with the screen share with the internet connection,
But it's no problem at
yeah.
all, because then I can talk a little bit what is going on in the chat here. We have the super chat activated since a couple of weeks, and today we have War Ants, for example, sending €1. I think this is really cool. Thank you so much. Also, Crypto Luckbox, €20. €20 is a lot of money, guys. It's more worth than dollars. He's saying, "Sup, Hex peeps, love you guys. Can you give us your thoughts on bottom of bear market and possible Hex bottom? Thanks in advance. Cheers." So Günther, maybe this is a question for you, since Patrick is still in the works here with his chart. Can you give us an idea of your bottom of the bear market when it comes to Hex and also maybe Bitcoin?
Let's start with Bitcoin and then go to Hex.
Okay, sure.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
So I think so. You could see what's the current price of Bitcoin, by the way?
It's 21.
Okay, I in May of 2021, I called that Bitcoin would retest 20K. You can see it on TradingView. So this is not surprising to me. And notice the double top there, which is extremely bearish and also very weak like move for Bitcoin. Like after like 20K and then it crashed, then its next leg up was just very weak, actually, to be honest. So now it's a retest of 20K. I think there's actually a strong bounce at 20K because it was the previous resistance, so it can act as support for the price. And I think what will happen is, this is just pure speculation. I have no crystal ball, but I think buyers will step in because they're like, oh, 20K is now support and the price already got wrecked. I think buyers will step in and get everyone to go long. So maybe the price goes up 30K or maybe goes up 40K or something like that. And then I think it's a trap door. People get wrecked again and the price crashes to around $10,000.
I mean, I hear what you say. I disagree a little bit on that, because if we go in a shorter time window here in the daily chart, so yesterday it nearly reached the 20K, so it reached the low of 20,080. I'm pretty sure that on some other exchanges it might have been a little lower, and the retrace was only until 22,500. So I mean that is something, yeah, that's more than 10%, but not like something what you are saying, like back to 28 or back to 30,000 or something like that. And it was only yesterday high volume with like the buy the dip mentality, and today it's already down another 6-7%, and only like $1,000 up of the yesterday's low. So as of right now, I actually see this spike as pretty weak, and I would see the 20K falling pretty soon.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, it's possible. Like we don't have a crystal ball, so it's possible it could just like totally break right now and go straight down to 10K. I also am under the if you're looking at like a bigger picture for Bitcoin, if you look at the monthly chart, um, I think Bitcoin will never break 69,000. I think that is its peak forever. I think
Bro.
Yeah, I think if you think about this in terms of like negative x squared, like a downward parabola, I think the maximum point is 69K, and it'll just be a rainbow down forever. I think it's rest in peace. Now, do I think all the crypto is going to go die? No, I don't think so. I think just Bitcoin will actually die, but I don't think it'll happen overnight. I think maybe it happens over the course of like a long period of time, like several years. Like maybe so it took like 14 years to go from sub 1 penny to 69,000. Great investment. But now it's gotten to a point where multi-billionaires have bought Bitcoin, and it's no longer, and it barely moved the price, and it's no longer an efficient use of capital. So I don't think billionaires really want to inject that much money just to push the price up and have it only be used as exit liquidity. So I actually think of what we really will see like long term over the next like maybe 14 years or so, maybe 14 years up, 14 years down. Again, this is just pure speculation, just my own opinion, but I think it'll just be like a rainbow down with like lower highs, and it just never it just it just never recovers. It literally just dies like slowly over time. Maybe it stabilizes at some like constant value, just because obviously there's always like money still in it, right?
It sounds so funny what you're saying, but it's logical, right? But my question is this: we know Hart's law, cryptos that are interchangeable with each other go up and down with each other. But what would something like this mean to Hex, for example? What I've heard here from you, Günther, is that you are a little bit more bullish short term, right? It could go up to 40, but then will fall down to 10. And Patrick is already a little bit more bearish. He's saying he's seeing the 20,000 not holding, and we will go down to 10 really, really soon. But what does that imply? Where could that all end up when Bitcoin is going down to 10K? Where could be the bottom in for Hex, for example?
Yeah, it's a good question. So about I think only about 15% of the liquidity for Hex is tied to ETH. The 85%.
I can show you for sure. It is 19.9%.
Okay. So 20% basically is tied to ETH, which and 80% to, well, let's see. No, it isn't 80%. 72%, 73%.
Yeah, because there is the Hex Hedron pair and the Hex Maxi pair.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Those are having like 7. Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, it's mostly bonded with USDC. However, because it's still tied to ETH and ETH is tied to Bitcoin, there is still a correlation there. So like when Bitcoin crashes, it pulls ETH down, and and then ETH is tied to all the altcoins, and so then that pulls altcoins down, and then people panic sell, and you also have market psychology that kicks in, like fear and panic and duress and all that. So then people just like dump too. So it's true that it could dump more. However, I would say with Hex crashing almost 95%, I think if you're not locking in profits at this point, meaning if you're not a buyer, if you have dry powder, I think that's pure greed. And I actually think it's basically mental retardation, because the price is because Hex is an amazing financial product. I don't care what the price chart is doing now. It dropped 95%, but so did Amazon and so did Ethereum. So I just think you should just be a buyer, and you should be a big buyer at this level, even if the price dropped a little bit lower, even if it dropped to maybe 2 cents or 1 cent. The fact of the matter is, you'd be more looking at like a wick, and only if you had like a large limit order would it be filled. And then if you had an LP position, well, maybe it would just like wick through it and then wick back up through it. So like you might not be able to exit quickly unless you're like doing it in real time. So I don't know. I think it's a safer play to actually, for all the Hex buyers that have dry powder, especially large buyers, I think you should front run all the guys at 1 cent. Front run them now at current price. And I'm not saying that that's necessarily the best play, but I think it's the wisest play.
I mean, I totally agree on that, and I can also give you some reasoning here on the chart. I mean, first of all, I disagree to everybody out there who is saying Hex goes sub 1 penny. First of all, let's have a look why I say like not under 1 penny. First of all, I should make a line at 1 penny that we can see that a little bit better, I would say. Let's see if I get the 1 penny line.
And we have a new super chat here from Unkerville. He's saying Black Hexican and the Sparbuch crew. Donna says hello and hopes all are doing well. And we met Unkerville and on our workshop tour, so this was really cool. Hi Unkerville, thanks for the $20. So how, Paddy,
Yeah,
did you
thanks
find
a
it?
lot. Yeah, so here I made another green line at the 1 penny mark, and what we can see is even before big payday we went up there directly, or a few weeks after big payday again. And here in the weekly candles, like the 1 penny mark was already like it was resistance, it was support, it was resistance, it was support. So we really worked over a few months already over the 1 penny mark, and then in the beginning of 2021 we reached a new all-time high after like the new year blow off top, and then we had another correction here, this little one, and from here it really started the run up. And that's why I see like here where it before the huge run up started, here in this correction I see like the lowest point happening if we go lower. So if people would like to time it, maybe you put a limit order at 1.6, 1.7, 1.8 cents. But as Günther already said, it's looking pretty good. So also see buy support here at the minus 95% mark. As you said, Richard also like made this analogy with Amazon or with Ethereum, and there is maybe a group in the community who also don't want to see Hex below a 95% drop. Um, but when we go back to Bitcoin or even to Ethereum, there is still like plenty of room down. So remember what Richard said. He says Bitcoin will go down to 11K. I am not with him there, but I would say okay, Bitcoin can go down to 17K, and within the next couple of weeks. So maybe this long upwards trend channel, like with the second point of the dip of 2020, of the pandemic dip, might hold. And here we see like the 17,000 again. And I can also show you why I guess we will see those 17,000. It's not only like this uptrend, but also when you look at the last bear market, what we had from 2017 for a year till end of 18. And if I zoom in a little bit here, we see, I hate my internet connection. So we see like this huge red candle here, and then a little retrace, and then it went like to the all-time low. If I measure from the weekly close till the end, it's like another 20% minus. And if I make the same measurement right here, okay, thanks for zooming my little chart.
We have another super chat. This is fits really well here. War ends €2. He's saying we'll make bomber jackets for Hex and PLSD stake it. So Günther, what do you say to that? I think this is the reason why Hex will not dump to like 1 cent or sub cent. And this is, I think, why Hex will be and Pulse Doge will as well very successful, because we have this community. War ends here just declaring he will make jackets for the community. I think this is so cool. So what do you have to say? Why will Pulse Doge pump? And do you think the community is the part and the reason why? Are you still muted, Günther?
Sorry about that. Yeah. So why would Pulse Dogecoin pump? I think a lot of people don't understand the dynamics of, like, I think they don't understand the centralized ownership of Pulse Dogecoin, and I also think they're not very good at mathematics. That's just so. All right, so there is Pulse Doge is greatly centralized. The majority of the supply is held. If you look at the top holders of the top wallets of Pulse Doge, the majority of the supply is controlled by Hex sharks and dolphins. You know this because you could look up their Ethereum addresses and you could do research on them. And you could see, you could look them up in stakehex.today. You could look at connected addresses and you could see how many T shares they control. What is their average stake length? Like what is their behavior or psychology? Like if you start digging through their transaction history. So that's number one. And Pulse Doge has a 100-day claim phase. And at the end of the 100-day claim phase, then there's two addresses. One is the actual origin address ending in 7C03, the hex origin address, and then another one called the benevolent address. Both of those addresses get 10 tokens per claimed address. So they'll get fat stacks. I really don't see those particular addresses being malevolent. Like I don't see them being malicious or looking to like dump the price or just extract value and like rug pull people. I really don't see that. Obviously no crystal ball, but it looks like those two addresses coupled with all the hex sharks and dolphins that control the asset will actually protect it, sort of like the hex OA protects hex price, which allowed it to do 10,000x from the all-time low.
So something that I really want to show really quick is my screen share. So let's.
I want to go back with the last sentence. Why do you think that without the OA Hex couldn't do like the 10,000x? Yes, of course, because of the centralized ownership. Because the OA has like a lot of coins, but that was like a mathematical function known from the get-go, that the origin address will get a copy of each coin throughout the 350-day claim phase. Because you know that better than me, but neither the OA nor one of its 3,000 daughter addresses ever bought a single hex. They also never sold a single hex, but they also never bought a single hex, right?
Technically, did they never buy a single hex?
There's unclearness here, but Patrick, do you want to?
We'll keep it at a vague question.
I see how it is. Patrick, do you want to keep your screen up? I just want to show something really quick here that Günther was talking about, because I was on Günther's Twitter and I saw something really interesting here with this tweet. He made me aware that there is a possibility to see if you have claimable PLSD or not. So you just go here to this link and then you can see, without even connecting your wallet, if you can claim PLSD. And I actually found a wallet that I have not even claimed my Pulse Doge yet from. So thank you so much for posting that. One question that I have also in the chat is, where do you guys see the bottom for Ethereum? Since we've also talked about Bitcoin and Hex already, Patrick, I know you wanted to bring up the Ethereum chart as well.
Sure. So once back like to Bitcoin, based on the last bear market and based on current market conditions, I would see a possible Bitcoin low within the next couple of weeks, and in the 17,000 range. And now like to Ethereum, here we see Ethereum in the weekly chart as well. We see from the top to the lowest point a couple of days ago, it nearly did the 80% already. And when we go back here in the last, not too much, in the last bear market, also like from beginning of 2018 till end of 18, where it went down nearly the 95%. And also here we had like this huge red candle, and from the closing till the all-time low, it was another 30% down. And if we go from a potential closing right here, another I hate my Zoom when it's connected with StreamYard and all that. Usually that works great, but it doesn't when everything is running.
Sorry I didn't respond. I was doing a tweet. But yes, you're quite welcome, my friend. I'm glad you found another address. Wolverine makes sure that everyone eats. This is important.
Thank you so much. And this
And
is
if I
so much fun
measure,
when something like this happens to me.
and
Yeah.
if I go and measure like another 30% down from here, it would bring ease to like $750, and that would also fit with the prediction that ease goes down usually more than 80%, and that would be like a potential 85% drop of the Ethereum price, and that would be something what yeah, what I would agree with. How do you see
How-
that?
Günther, where do you see Ethereum going to the bottom in this year or next year, maybe? Who knows?
I mean, it's just going to be basically tied to Bitcoin, to whatever Bitcoin does. I just think with Ethereum, probably I'd say anywhere between an 85 and 95% correction from the peak. 95% seems more probable.
So I had
Why do you say 95% seems more probable? Because I disagree on that. I don't think that Ethereum can
Of
go
course you do.
down 95%. And I give you also a reasoning why. I have two reasons. First reason is because also Ethereum got way bigger in the last bull market. So there are way more eyeballs who might buy a potential dip. And the second reasoning of mine is EIP 1559, because with this update, it increased fees, or it did not do anything with fees. But what it did, it burns Ethereum, and it burned a ton of Ethereum since the all-time high, or since it got activated. And
Yeah.
with those two reasons, I guess that Ethereum is more mature, that we don't see a 94-95% correction again, that we only see like 85% correction.
Well, I mean, either way, it's like Rekt. It's just one is more Rekt than the other version of Rekt. But I think
I disagree on that as well, because like minus 80% versus minus 95% is a huge difference.
yeah, I know. I'm just teasing. So Ethereum is trash. Let's face it, it's a trash investment. It's a trash asset with trash gas fees, where it's got a trash mafia miner that's just been raping everyone with price and gas fees. Um, I'm bearish on Ethereum. I don't care what they're doing. I think the market is going to punish them, and punish them severely. So this is more just like, I don't know. I don't know if that's like the best like reasoning, but like I'm so sick of Ethereum gas fees. I wouldn't mind if it crashed 99%, because fuck Ethereum.
Yeah, me
Mafia.
neither. But still, you know, the biggest NFTs communities are still on Ethereum and using the chain, and you still need to see that's the second biggest cryptocurrency. And I mean, most of the people who know about Bitcoin also heard about Ethereum, but with all the rest, they don't have a clue like that there are stable coins, which I guess USDC is number 3. And with Ethereum crashing under $1,000, I guess that is already like this panic sell, this denial phase, this like, now Ethereum is dead, you know, because it's under $1,000.
Yeah,
So,
I could see that narrative running. I mean, come on, guys. Like I saw. I mean, we all witnessed Ethereum go from like, what was it, like $89 up to like 4,000 and change, and now
yep.
it also has a very similar problem to Bitcoin. You've got so much money that's in the asset. It takes a lot of money to push the price up because it has high liquidity, and people are just not willing to inject that capital. This is a global bear market. Who has the capital? Or I mean, there's some players that do, but who's willing to inject that money when the global market, financial market, is crashing? Like, it doesn't make
Okay,
logic.
yeah, I agree on that, but then I don't know where your point is coming from that Hex already saw like it's low.
Well, I
Because
mean,
where is the new money for Hex coming from? It also like needs to come from somewhere.
yeah, no, it's also a fair point. You do have some players that do have dry capital on the sidelines. For example, not to be reliant upon Godwill.
Okay, then I can say, okay, the Ethereum Foundation has the same, because the Ethereum Foundation made the
Yeah.
top.
Yeah, but it's true. Let's see what happens. I don't know. Let's see what happens. All I
But
know is
Richard
You
Hart
know,
has
I just want to get like to the core of your thought process. That's why I'm like acting a little.
my thought process is somewhat biased because I'm tired of the mafia miners just like basically bending over everyone and raping them. I hate to say it like that, but that's what they're doing financially with like gas fees. And so I'm happy for their price chart to get totally wrecked.
Yeah, I mean,
Richard Hart.
Actually, it brings me much
Richard
agree
Hart was
because-
saying, Patrick, wait, Richard Hart was saying something
Yeah.
similar, right? In his last stream, he was asked something like this, and he said, well, Ethereum is at least a little bit better than Bitcoin, but markets are not rational. So he sees Ethereum going down even lower than Bitcoin does. So doing even more than 95% retrace. I think this was really interesting. But I think
Yeah, I
this is
mean,
enough of Ethereum.
Yeah, but you know, you misinterpreted Richard here because what he said was that Ethereum can make more miners than Bitcoin, and I totally agree to that because I think that in this cycle Bitcoin will have a minus 80% dip and Ethereum a minus 85% dip, but not like a 85 versus 95%. And don't mislead those numbers. It might only be like 5 to 10 numbers, but like between 85 and 95% of price correction, that's a huge difference. So just to to give you an idea here. And you know, like saying, okay, Bitcoin and Ethereum is so wrecked and goes so much down. Uh, I need to ask, like, okay, but where does the buy pressure for Hex come from then?
Well, this answer I can give. Look at my shirt. People are asking in the chat. People are saying in the chat they want to make shirts and stuff like this. We today had Big Kurskowski throwing the first pitch. We have a strong community, just as PLSD or Maxi has as well. And I think that's exactly where the buy pressure will come from in the future. Because if you're new to crypto in general, right? If you've never heard of Hex after all, then it doesn't matter for you too much if it's bear or bull market. You need to get in the first place. So I think the community being the number one reason why we will see the 3 cents being the bottom in Hex and maybe even elevating faster than all the other cryptocurrencies. So I'm a little bit more bullish than you guys, I have the feeling.
You actually have a great.
I agree with the elevator, with the. What was the last sentence of yours? That it will go up faster than others. So I agree on that.
Because we have this amazing function, right? The truth engine where you lock up your money. You guys forgotten like 6.6 years? It's crazy. So we have definitely less liquid coins available in Hex than we have in all the other markets. Is that true? Because all the other markets, you do not really stake. You always have your stuff available. And I think this just must be a huge plus of Hex. That's why I'm just so much more bullish.
You actually, Patrick, you actually have a very good question about where do the buyers come from? And this is actually a real problem that I've been thinking about. And one of the reasons why I'm like more active, I think, on Twitter, I think the Hex community needs to get up and onboard, including myself. We need to actually onboard billionaires. And for me, I'm not afraid to reach out to a billionaire. I don't care. I see people as people, regardless of the size of their wallet. So I think if we really want to see buyers, then I think we need to bring in money that's not in crypto, outbound messaging, onboard no coiners. Stop relying on, like, let's say Godwill to like, please save us, Godwill, by injecting your stables that you cashed out from Ethereum into Hex. I mean, Godwill might do that, but I don't think we should rely on one player. I don't think we should rely on Richard to come save us. No, fuck that.
Yep.
Let's go onboard billionaires, because billionaires move markets, and everyone else is literally just along for the ride. They're not actually going to move the market. Now it is a little, I guess it is a little bit different if you have well, let me just give you an idea. Okay, so let's say you have 1 million users that you onboard, and they could each bring $1,000 to the table. That's $1 billion. I think it's more efficient to just go for one billionaire to inject $1 billion. And then in the process, because the price is going up and there's fat green candles, then the 1 million users with $1,000 will come in because they see green candles painted on the chart like Bob Ross. So
do you really think that a billionaire would inject $1 billion in a liquidity pool who has less than 10 million USDC in it?
Yeah, but a billionaire doesn't need to inject $1 billion at once. They could just ratchet up the price, right? Like, let's say you bring it, like you could, like a billionaire could just buy every single day. Maybe they're just buying like $100,000 every day. Boom, 100,000, 100,000, 100,000, or maybe more, maybe 500,000, maybe $1 million, whatever. You could do, let's say $1 million. If you did $1 million, then you could do that over the course of 1,000 consecutive days. If you did 10 million, you could do that over 100 days. Yeah, so it's just you could maybe do large amounts, and like I'm just my point is we need to onboard like very wealthy people and have them inject their capital, and that will allow the asset to perform very well.
So we always get this question, right? On our tour, we were asked, like, should you concentrate on onboarding this guys or these guys? You were saying, well, let's onboard the billionaires even. I'm in Albania right now. We are onboarding Eurida's family, friends and families, and they do not have a lot of money. And I already tell them, guys, like $20 can already change your life. But unfortunately, yes, you're right. Those people do not change the price. But Günther, where do we find the millionaires? How do we onboard the billionaires into crypto? What is your idea?
I mean, I think it's just people just thinking of clever, creative ways. For example, I was recently watching Bling Empire on Netflix, and it's just billionaires like living out their lavish lifestyles. So I started to actually reach out to some of the people that are on that show. I started to reach out actually just to one individual, Kane Lim, and then started looking at all the followers. And then I think I would like to go down that path and see if I could just become friends and see if they're willing to give me an audience and I could show them and teach them about Hex.
That would be amazing. And this is exactly what I'm saying. Like everybody is doing something. You are trying to trail Hex to the billionaires, PLSD, hopefully as well to the billionaires.
Well, I mean, for me, I think the best play, instead of focusing on one asset because we all hold different assets, I think it's just dumb to just be a maximalist for one thing. I think it's actually better to sell a bundled package to people. Sell them a bundle of things that we think would be good for them. But it's also, I mean, of course, obviously it's good for our own wallets, but naturally it's going to be good for other people if we're encouraging them to buy the assets that we think will perform the best, right? So I usually sell a package of Hex, Pulse, Pulse X, and Pulse Doge. For me, those are the assets that I like the most, and those are the assets that I'm willing to actually sell to billionaires.
Yeah, when it comes to us, to Crypto Sparbuch, first we showed our audience like that Pulse Dogecoin is like existing, and that there is a claim phase going on, and then I guess like a few weeks later we pulled it up again and said like, yeah, it's also a good buying opportunity. Like it was around the same price than now. It was like around 180 as well, and volatile coin. But I also said I was pretty clear, especially like in the German live stream. I said it will be the better play when you want to get Pulse coin before the bridge to the Pulse chain goes live. Then you should go over the route with Pulse Dogecoin, because directly after the fork, each and everybody doubles his Hex, and I see something like the Big Bay Day event again, where the event hit it. People got a ton of new free coins, and the lowest point was like 20-30 minutes directly after the event, and from there it bounced back up, so a new all-time high 6 weeks later. And when it comes to Pulse Dogecoin, I don't see this initial drop off, and that's why I think that with Pulse Dogecoin directly after the fork, it might have a little correction, but not as much as Hex, and that you will get more Pulse coins with your Pulse Doge than if you buy Hex right now, if you want to have Pulse with those coins, I mean, if you buy Hex right now in order to have Hex, yes, do that, please. But if you want to buy something because you want to have Pulse coin in the end, then I would try to go with the Pulse coin route.
Patrick, I have another super chat here. The only Juanito is saying, hi, you white-assed Hexicans from Texas. And then somebody else in the chat, is saying, well, PLSD I did not even claim, and this guy is not sure if it's safe to claim. What do you guys say to somebody who says, I do not know, and how could you take away the fear from those guys?
Yeah, well, we've been hearing this FUD from day one that it's not safe to claim, but the fact of the matter is we've had like several Hex devs look at the like the safety of actually claiming, and when you go to connect your wallet on the app, it's only you're only granting permission to view the addresses and to suggest transactions to approve. Now I will say this, that the official site is pulsedoge.com. Let me say that again, pulsedoge.com. If you go to another site that's not .com, then you actually, when you go to connect your wallet, it's a malicious site, and I won't even mention what that site is, but it's a malicious site, and you will not be granting just permission to view the addresses and suggest transactions to approve. You'll actually be granting permission for infinite spend limits with Ethereum, and I think it was it USDC, well, Patrick?
Yeah, and HEX as well. So you're basically like if you go with this scam, then you are allowing this scam site full access to your wallet, like full unlimitless permission for your wallet, and that's how people get robbed.
And you literally will lose all your money. Like if whatever money's in your wallet, and with those assets, it'll be 100% gone. So don't be dumb. Like we're telling you, we're warning you. Hey, pulsedoge.com, and it tells you exactly what permissions you're granting for that asset. And then even after you claim, you could go to Etherscan and you could revoke the permissions if you wanted to, right? But it's perfectly safe. Many devs have signed off on this, and trusted devs within.
And it's audited as well, right? So the code is audited as well.
True.
So right now you see pulsedoge.com in the chat by Crypto Sparbuch posted, so you know this is the right link to click. But what I always like to do is go to Twitter, go to Telegram, and then just go to the original sources, right, and find the original link if you want to claim it. Then you are safe from that side, because stuff like this you have in every cryptocurrency, that there are scammers out there trying to get your money. Unfortunately, and crypto is full of that. So other than that, I have another question forwarded to PLSD here. Would it make sense to push PLSD on a centralized exchange, for example? I guess the answer is always yes, right?
Yeah, I think so, just because it's more exposure, there's more eyes on it, and it's easier to buy. A lot of people are not in DeFi, and then once they buy it, and if they could come into like our Telegram chat, then we could be like, hey, you should probably remove your money from that centralized exchange. It's just that we're not interested in paying exchanges. We get messages all the time from people. Actually, most of them are probably just scammers, but they want us. It's basically like a pay to play. Fuck that. We're not paying. If you want Pulse Doge and you want to list it on your exchange for your customers, you can come and buy it, and then you can list it. But we're not just going to give it away. We're not going to give away a super scarce asset where the majority of the asset is controlled by benevolent whales. We want people to actually hit the buy button and push the price up, because we want people to make money. So we're not again, like, sure, we want centralized exchange to have it. We would want Coinbase and Gemini, for example. I think those would be good. Although Coinbase, will they even be around in the future? I don't know. Maybe go bankrupt. Like I don't know.
Yeah, true. Yeah, because
I'm bearish on Coinbase.
Their IPO scam, you can literally say that this was like an IPO scam, or because they pushed like the market, also like pushed prices up, and then made like a huge overvalue of their company based on that. Also timed it towards the top of the bull market, and on the day when they launched their stock, there's a coin-based stock. The initiators, like the big premium, the big guys of Coinbase, they cashed out a few $100 million on the first day.
Yeah, I think recently the CEO bought a $133 million house. I don't know. There's just for me, there's just like some. I'm not saying that's wrong, right? Like if you're rich, you could buy anything, but I just don't like their clauses. For example, on Coinbase, where they protect themselves, like in the event of like a bankruptcy, then they could seize any assets that live on the exchange and use that to settle debts. Well, guess what? That sucks for
Your
you.
crypto is not yours if you have it on Coinbase.
Correct. Like,
And
if
I
you're
also, I mean, I also wouldn't keep them on Coinbase Wallet. I mean, yes, you have your own keywords, but it's Coinbase Wallet, and
Yeah.
I'm like not 100% sure.
Yeah, I'm
if
skeptical
that's like
too, man.
really only. Yeah, I'm just
skeptical.
skeptical with that. So
Fuck that.
keep everything on your own online wallets, hardware wallets, even better, or keep them like just on a piece of paper because you're maybe a 15-year staker or something like that, and then you don't need a connected wallet anyways. You know, you can just like go with a dummy wallet to connect yourself with everything you want to find out, but never do those connections with your long-term staking wallet or something like that. And then there is just no need in using Coinbase wallet actually, because you just use your hardware wallet, your MetaMask wallet, your Staker wallet, and just not the Coinbase wallet. But you can use like Coinbase because one centralized exchange you need. Like you say, Gemini would be another option, Bitstamp would be another option. But in general, we never gave any recommendations for centralized exchanges because all of them have their flaws as well. For example, German community. I like the centralized exchange Bitstamp. I'm using that since 4 years, but I cannot recommend it because it's English speaking only.
But I think every coin would love to be on a centralized exchange. This is just more exposure. But we have to say we do not need that, right? HEX is not on a centralized exchange, but it would just help so much the price. This is why I guess somebody was asking that. But PLSD, I believe, will have it easier to be listed on Binance, on Coinbase. Why? Because it's not in conflict what Coinbase is doing, right? Actually, Coinbase wants to list PLSD. They love to advertise meme coins, right? We have seen that in the past. And now they are advertising meme coin is actually good, right? Not like Shiba Inu or other stuff. I love that. And can you just bring up the screen share really quick? Because I found something really interesting. I went to Luna Crush. I follow them on Twitter, and they have a pretty cool site. You can type in here on influencer. What is your coin doing when it comes to influencers? So let's look for PLSD, and we see Pulse Doge is already represented here, right? So we see a Pulse Doge coin HEX info. I think that's where I got my intro from. And Gunther here also for 1 and 2. I think I'm here in number 10. But my point is, if we go and search for Maxi, for example, Maxi is not here yet, right? We can maybe look for Hedron. I don't know if Hedron is here. Okay, Hedron is here, and there we already find a Maxi account. I'm here as well. But my point is, though, maybe could it be easier for PLSD to be adopted to Coinbase or Binance than HEX? What do you guys think?
I actually think so, because I mean, HEX just has so much hate from the beginning. Like Richard Hart gets so much hate, and HEX got so much hate, like just scam labeled, and people still think like rug pull, especially like after this crash. It's just hard for, and I honestly think a lot of it is just malicious. It's just intentional gatekeeping, like CoinMarketCap with their like listing it permanently at number 201. Fuck CoinMarketCap, you know, like fuck those guys. So anyway, I think Pulse Doge would be much easier and more. I mean, let's face it, guys. People love meme coins. They love like token with dog logo. That's what, like, their average person like hits the buy button because of that. And these exchanges only care about making money. So I think they could make a lot of money from listing Pulse Doge. So yeah, if Gemini is listening, if the Winklevoss twins are listening, which I doubt. What are the chances of that, right? But yeah, if they're listening, list Pulse Doge for us, please. Thank you.
So we have a couple of guys here saying HEX HODL, for example, HEX is only for fiat on and off ramp, and that's exactly what I use it for. I never have any money on my centralized exchange that I use. James Bronson is saying, Gunther, why is no one talking about you finding with the OA holding 90% of the HEX supply? And that's actually not true that we are not talking about it, but because when we did the introduction today, we like made this into the introduction of Gunther, because I think your work there with showing what the OA does and what the OA did was just tremendous. So yeah, we're talking a lot about that. It's nothing hidden or something like this.
Yeah, nothing's hidden. And I mean, honestly, we those of us that have been in HEX long enough, know that the reason why the OA and daughter addresses and all of that keep Hex liquid, most of the Hex liquid, is so that users can get high APY. If all of that Hex got staked, well, forget about 6 Hex per T share per day. Welcome to the world of like, let's say maybe 1 Hex per T share per day. And we saw this around the time of Big Payday. So it's actually like a very generous thing that those wallets are, those addresses are essentially just becoming diluted because more Hex comes into circulation. So there's dilution, and they're not earning like any interest. So yeah, that's really
half of the penalty. Half of the penalties.
Yeah, and yeah, sure, of course, the origin address is getting half of the penalties from emergency and staking, and also late penalties. So it just naturally grows.
And do you have like the number how much staking power daughter addresses have in the system? I guess it's like a little under 20%, right?
Yeah, it's about last time I looked, I think it was about 20%. If you combine those 11 addresses, it is the only Poseidon in Hex.
Yep, that's true. Yeah, Poseidon means like having 10% of the T shares.
Yep, I don't think anyone else has 10%.
No.
Guys, I have another question here from Boyan. The question is, are all Hex holders eligible to claim PLSD?
If you had active Hex stakes that are native or legacy stakes, not HSIs, and they were active on April 20th at the time of the snapshot, then yes. And you could check, you mentioned that tweet earlier, you could actually go to that tweet and check that Excel spreadsheet and see if your address exists on that page. I think it's column B that you would actually use the find function to see if you can find your address, if I remember correctly.
So let me see if I can.
You just like make a search in the document to easily search out your address. You don't need to look like line by line.
Yeah. You could highlight column B and search that way, or you could just hit Control F and find it. It's just you won't find your address if for example you were to click on, let's say, column C, which is all hyperlinked addresses. You wouldn't actually find your address in that, even though you can visually see it on the screen, because those are formulas. That's hyperlinked. They're just hyperlinks of column B. So like if you're trying to find your address in column C, well, you'll never find it. So yeah, just be aware of that. One of the quirks.
I just used the search function, and that worked out really, really well for me.
Yeah, that should work.
So Enron is saying, who is OA? And maybe I do not know exactly if he's talking about Hex or PLSD here. So maybe we can clarify, what is the difference between the Hex OA and the PLSD OA?
Yeah, so the Hex OA, it's actually, the OA is just one single address, the origin address ending in 7C03. But there are many daughter addresses that are connected to that address in some way or another, whether indirectly or directly. And so those all basically make up centralized ownership for Hex, controlled by possibly one entity or more. Because, I mean, nobody really knows, right? Like, we just can connect them based on certain behaviors and that type of thing. But we don't really know, like, does just one person hold the keys, for example, or is it multiple people? We don't really know. I don't think it's actually important that we know either. We just know that those addresses essentially give us high APY and protect the price like long term. The Pulse Doge has what's called the benevolent address, so slightly different. The benevolent address, as previously stated, gets 10 tokens per claimed address, and they can only mint those tokens once the 100-day claim phase ends. Those tokens cannot be minted prior to that time. In fact, if you try to do it on Etherscan, because anyone can run the function to mint for OA and BA, you'll just get some like crazy ass, like unreasonable, like gas transaction fee, like of like $20,000 or something, and then it'll just probably fail anyway. So yeah, feel free if you want to like burn money and try that. I'm not gonna mess around with that. You can't run the function until the claim phase ends, and then when the claim phase ends, you can only run the function one time, not unlimited number of times. And so this is why if you go to like CoinGecko, I think, is it CoinGecko? Let me see.
So, Günther, do you think that somebody will just like run the function after the claim phase for BA and OA, or do you think that?
Yeah, I mean, anyone could run the function. So I'm guessing. I don't like anyone could run it, but I'm guessing possibly the founder runs it if nobody else does. That's just my guess. So maybe hex.info runs
and
it.
And you also think that he will run it for the OA?
I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's just one function where it
It's like for BA and OA in combination, or what?
I think so.
But you say that the OA can claim with his private keys. So I cannot see that the OA can also like run the function for the BA.
Yeah, so anyone can run the function, but I think it's just one function for OA and BA, if I remember correctly. But we could reach out to Hex Info and ask for clarification on that. But if I'm not mistaken, let me just look on Etherscan real quick. Also, getting back to my point with CoinGecko with Pulse Doge has this little statement. Let's see if I can find it.
Patrick, as long as Günther is looking for that, maybe you can answer this question. James is asking, any advice for good fiat on-ramp, off-ramps into Hex? I don't want to go through centralized exchanges.
No, just go through the centralized exchange.
Centralized exchange, it's pretty hard actually. I mean, you can maybe find somebody in the community, in the Hex community, who makes like a private OTC deal with you, but also there it's like involved a lot of trust. And I mean, maybe you can search something like local Bitcoins, but I don't know if there are any offers right now in the bear market. And yeah,
ATMs would work. You could buy Ethereum at ATMs and then use that to change into Hex, but it's not really efficient. Centralized exchange is needed for on and off ramp, in my opinion.
Yeah, because the ATMs have like a 10 to 20% charge.
Yeah, exactly.
So there, I shared a link with in the private chat. I shared a link with CoinGecko. If you click on that and pull up the page, you'll see this warning that says the smart contract owner can mint new tokens. Please proceed with caution. The only reason why it says that is because the claim phase isn't over. So once the claim phase is over, then yes, anyone can run the function, the mint OA BA tokens function, which mints the tokens for both addresses.
So, do you see the screen? Where exactly do we see that?
Scroll up to the yellow.
Yeah, I already. You can share my screen share.
Yeah, now I see it as well. The smart contract owner can mint new tokens. Please proceed with cautious. Yep. But like you explained already.
This will go away in like 40 days, right?
Yep, exactly.
That is, I guess, what noobs are looking at, the plebs, right? They see a yellow sign like that, and then they are like hypnotized by that, and they do not do their research.
Yep, and they don't. As a result, probably a lot of them like don't claim, or they just don't buy it, and then they miss the train because they just didn't know enough, basically.
All right, good. Do you maybe have questions for Crypto Sparbook for KSB TV?
I will just let me just state on if you go to Etherscan, let me give you the link real quick. Like we're all.
I guess Mars already put the link here in the private chat.
Yeah,
I will copy paste it real quick.
Yeah, open that up because if you go on Etherscan under Rekt contract, there's a number 5 says mint OA BA tokens, so it's one function.
Yeah, I'm nearly there. That's always my internet with.
Hey, your connection, man, bro. Please increase service or pay more money or
no.
Something.
I am at maximum. I am at a maximum service. I guess what I need to increase is like my hardware here.
Yeah,
nice. And finally, Hexline is buying a new computer. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And also, what I would like you to do is connect the computer with the LAN cable. Maybe that could help as well. And then also find a new cable like we talked before.
Yeah, you see number 5, mint OA BA tokens. So you could click on that. and then there's just a write function. If you connected your wallet, you could see you would see some crazy ass like high gas fee.
Yeah, I want to see that. But yeah, just talk a little bit. My wallet will be connected in like a minute or two.
So we can go into the chat here. Unka Will is there, Monica, Hex Huddle, Celt Hex. So like I said before, 90 people watching. This is amazing, guys. Do not forget to like and subscribe, and also go to ksb.tv, because I see the most people are watching on Crypto Sparbook, and we need to have the people on ksb.tv YouTube channel. We also find the link.
We need to boost the numbers for these live streams. So if you do participate in these live streams, whenever you're on, please like go on Twitter and like share it with like all your followers. Just like any small things you like, hit like and like subscribe to the channel. Like all these small things that you do just like helps everyone, because we need a larger audience. Like all of our numbers are all like pleb numbers across the board with like Hex, with a lot of things. We really need to like boost numbers like across.
Exactly. Like I'm on Luna Crush lately a little bit. If just every Hexican would use 10 or 20 minutes out of their time and like every single tweet from other Hexicans, I think this would already bring up the engagement, right? But just everybody needs to do it, and that's the problem. All right. Yep. So guys, if you have more questions, then this is your time now to ask this question. Patrick, have you been able to connect to the site?
Yes.
All right, then let's see what you have found.
Yeah, no, not so fast. I have been able to put my password in my MetaMask again, but it looks like that the site does not recognize that I'm already connected with my wallet. I will refresh Etherscan and then it should work.
Yeah, so Etherscan's a little bit buggy. Sometimes you gotta like reload, like you're saying, and then like reconnect.
Yeah, but it's just like a pain in the ass with this slow connection.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, if anyone hasn't claimed for stakes that they have on Staker app, I figured out how to do it on Etherscan and successfully did it for someone like in person, like someone that I met. We figured it out, and it was such a pain in the ass, but we finally got it to work. So yeah, it does work. So it's just really hard to do technical support like that, like in a Telegram chat or even like on the phone or even like on a video chat. It's hard. It's just better in person. If you can meet someone that knows how to do it, that would be ideal.
Yeah, I guess ideal would also be to have a video on somewhere. And I think you've posted something like this already, right? Somebody made a video on how to do it.
Yeah, there is like David Fetter did a pretty good video. It's just that, you always run into like these like issues along the way. And it's like those subtle nuances that could actually make it take maybe 3 or 4 hours for you to actually figure out how to do it.
Oh, so yeah, blockchain is hard sometimes.
I have another question here. James is saying, did anyone else notice you can't change the spend limit in MetaMask after you buy Hex? It shows in Etherscan permission as unlimited, which you have to revoke. Any suggestions?
No. So like if you're using, for example, if you're using like Uniswap or Matcha or 1inch, there is going to be like an infinite spend limit, right? Because it needs to, you're giving permission to like swap like assets, right? So you could revoke it if you felt uncomfortable. It's just that we all have used Matcha and 1inch and Uniswap, and we trust them to be safe sites, and no one's had any issues. But yeah, it is important to understand like what.
I mean, when it comes to 1inch, there was a fake website already. So with 1inch, I'm a little more cautious than with the others. But the first time you're swapping one coin to the other coin, you need to give the decentralized protocol the permission. And once the permission pops up, there you can edit the permission, and you can edit it in a way that you only allow like the amount you want to swap right now. But keep in mind, by doing that, always when you want to swap from one coin to another coin, you need to give permission first. So it's you can whatever you want to.
I actually didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, yeah, you
Yeah,
can.
and it's so what you're going to see is if you've never swapped for Hex before or any other assets for that matter, like a Matcha or Uniswap, you are actually going to have an approve transaction first. It's a separate transaction from the actual swap transaction. It'll be approved first, and then you'll see a second one that shows up in your Etherscan wallet. By the way, a lot of people that are new to crypto or new to like DeFi, or even people that have been doing it for a while and just don't know enough. Like you guys should all be monitoring all your transactions in etherscan.io. Like you should have like your own account where you sign in, you add in all your like addresses for wallets that you control. You could be notified with emails like every time there's a transaction that goes through any address. So it keeps you like alert in case like your wallet gets compromised. But then it's just a nice, easy way to keep track of everything. And then you just simply click on an address when you're executing a transaction. You should have Etherscan open, and you should be monitoring each of those just like you would be like looking at like a bank statement, for example. So yeah, if you're not using etherscan.io, you're a total pleb. I hate to say it, but yeah, total pleb.
Well, I'm using
also
it
like
really, really
if you
often,
want
but
to
I guess not.
see, yeah. Also, if you want to see like your account, like your activities, your swaps, your start stakes, your end stakes. Also, for example, for your tax authorities or something like that. For all of that, it's best to use etherscan.io. There you get like all the details to your address and your the things you did.
Yeah, everything. Even if you want to look at your inventory of like NFTs or like, let's say you opened up LP positions, right? Well, you could go to inventory, look at the NFTs, and then view NFT like on OpenSea, and now you can see all the LP positions that you own. You can also use this to check out any other addresses. I did this recently for a wallet that's just like a known like dumper, and also like loves to create LP positions. I just viewed all the NFTs and downloaded like 160 LP positions that this user had created from into Excel, and then I just went through and just like looked at the timestamps and was able to like track down, okay, what price levels does this LP provider have buy walls and sell walls set at, like while they're like dumping. And so that's a great way to like do research on like addresses. That's a pro tip, by the way. A lot of people don't know how to do that.
Actually, like now I made it happening that it pulls up like the mint OABA tokens to write this contract from Hexicans, and it says we were not able to estimate gas. There might be an error in the contract, or this transaction might fail.
Yeah. So point is, okay, it's cheaper than when I tried it. Before, when I tried it was like $20,000. I didn't actually execute the transaction. I was just looking at it. I was just playing around.
Yeah. Well, I will also reject it. Obviously, it actually it doesn't. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It would let me confirm, but I don't have like more than I have less ease on my onboarding account.
Yeah. Bottom line is, don't mess around with stuff that you don't understand. And this can only be run once when the claim phase ends. And I think anyone can actually run it. Anyone could write to the contract if they're willing to pay the gas fee. So you don't have to wait on somebody else to do it. You could just do it if you want.
So something interesting I also see here in the chat is USCG Vet is saying, as a software dev, I've personally audited Hex, Hedron, Maxi, and PLSD. Ethereum contracts are all good. So thanks for this information. And yeah, I think this is exactly what we need to do. Go in our community, because I cannot read the code by myself. But if you can go into the community and check several sources, and then you can just make sure that everything is good here. So PLSD free to claim. And Günther, how many days do you have left to claim?
I guess it's 42.
Yeah, is it 42? Let me double check. Let me fact check Patrick. Let's see.
So Patrick, then we have a question for you now. Let's see what happens. Question one: which one will pump more, PLSX or PLSD? No, nothing.
Well, no. I have. Let me think for a second here. From its all-time low, PLSX will outperform PLSD.
I'm gonna go the opposite and say that PLSD will outperform PulseX.
Now, the reason why I'm saying that is because I think that PLSD didn't had like really an all-time low. It was like not even at a 30% discount from its launch phase when one of the top token holders already like pushed the price hugely against himself, and that's why I think that as it did not correct much down, especially in the beginning, only like from $1 to 71, 72 cents, something like that. I guess that Pulse X, when the chart gets formed, will have a deeper correction, and from this lowest point to the potential highest point, it will outperform Pulse Doge. That's
So
my
Christian
opinion.
is saying, "Hey guys, thanks for the stream, Gunther. What is your 1 year price target on PLSD?"
No price predictions.
No price predictions. Well, he is not asking for a price prediction, but maybe a price target.
Oh, semantics.
You're good, David. You're
Yeah,
good.
try to be clever, but not really. Okay, so let me just state this. Okay, so I don't want to give like any price predictions because obviously I don't like to do that in the position that I'm in. I don't think it's the best optics. I'm not like the founder or anything. I'm just like an investor, but I don't think it's the best optics from like the position that I sit in to do that. I just think I could just say, just generally speaking, that larger players in Pulse Doge, it appears as though they're working in harmony and in unison, and it appears as though they're very ambitious with respect to Pulse Doge price performance. It seems as though these players want the asset to do really well, possibly do a 10,000x from all-time low and beyond. Will it succeed? I mean, honestly, me personally, I would like to see one Pulse Doge exceed the value of one Bitcoin, and people would laugh at that. However,
Yeah, but going with your Bitcoin prediction, that should be the case in a few years, right?
yeah.
Because you said like
With
Bitcoin won't
Bitcoin
reach a
rainbow
new
down.
all-time high, only goes down. So you know.
Yeah, actually, it's perfect because Pulse Doge will be going up and Bitcoin will be going down. So we'll probably intersect each other at some point. Maybe we intersect each other like at like $10,000 or something. I don't know, guys. Like I'm like kind of being funny here and half serious and half joking, but I would just say, like there's no financial advice. This is pure speculation. This is pure conjecture. If you make financial decisions based on anything that I say, then I think that's foolish. I think you should be accountable and responsible for any decisions that you make, just as I am for any decisions that I make. I'm a moon boy. Like, people know me. I can be very conservative at times, but I can also be like extra moon boy. So I think you should take that into consideration. But I think I don't know. I'm very bullish on Pulse Doge. I like the setup. I like the scarcity meme coin play. I like the centralized ownership. I like the large players that are involved, that want to protect the price, that know how to hold an asset for price appreciation. I like the memes. I like the marketing. There's a lot of things I like about it. I think it could possibly do very well.
Yeah,
Right,
I
I
will
just
also say so, like without any price prediction, just watch it yourself, guys. So when you go on the site dex.guru, for example, you can also put up the rich list on Etherscan. You can also put up the list of the top token holders. You can see like where some coins changed and so on. And keep in mind, in like after July 29th, when the last day of the claim phase is, there will be no more coins and there is no inflation coming out. So each and every player in this coin needs to buy up his position and also like needs to sell his position. And it is a more risky play than, for example, with Hex. Let's say you are like a bigger player in Hex. Then you make a million Hex in interest on your ladder a month. So if you sell like 5 million hex, those 5 million hex you have back in 5 months, for example. But if you're in the Pulse Doge, and let's say you have like 20,000 Pulse Doge coins, and you sell them down, you never will get them back. Only if you are like a super trader and you are able to sell tops and rebuy bottoms. But most of the people aren't. So I would say by just eyeballing this market, you can get a better feeling than, for example, with the hex market.
So Bitfinesse is asking, has it been discussed to consider holding off on launch? And I maybe think that Bitfinesse is a little bit late. PLSD is already out. You can already buy it. It already went up in price like crazy. So Bitfinesse, if you haven't yet, claim your PLSD.
Yeah, maybe he was talking about.
And I mean, if you want to Bitfinesse, it's free money for hex stakers as well. So nobody is upset if Hexicans are going to claim PLSD and dump that for hex. Yeah, secure the hex price. Do what you want to do. And we already have a statistic, so like about 10% of claimers dumped it.
I think also a lot of people, in terms of like price performance, they don't really understand like how well an asset can do when it has low liquidity. They don't really understand that it doesn't take much economic mass and energy to push the price up when the liquidity is low. And even with Pulse Doge, the liquidity is even lower than what people might expect, because some of the liquidity is at like different levels. Like, for example, like no one even cares about liquidity that exists that at, let's say, like 100 or 1,000x or 10,000x up from the all-time low, like in hex terms, right? Like you really only care more about like liquidity that's like available maybe like at like lower prices or like current prices. So I just don't think people really understand that it doesn't take much energy to push the price up. It also works true in the reverse way. It doesn't take that much economic mass or energy to push the price down. And so that's why you see like a lot of volatility. But even with all that volatility, what happens is it promotes like more trading, and which is good because all of that volatility actually just leads to the asset going even higher. Hex had a very similar setup in the early days. It had very, very low liquidity. If you wanted Hex, you had to hit the buy button. You had to push the price up against yourself. You had to eat a little bit of slippage. In this case, it's very similar. Like you would eat a little bit of slippage, but you can also just do smaller orders. Maybe you just buy 1,000 Pulse Doge and you just keep buying 1,000 or 2,000 at a time, because obviously you have to consider gas fees as well. And then, of course, like once you pop the price, you can also set up buy walls for yourself and then just scoop directly from sellers. So I think I only bring this up because a lot of people have been whining and complaining. Oh, the liquidity, it's so low, it's so low, it's so low. It doesn't have locked liquidity. It's just too low. It's not efficient. I don't buy that for a moment. If you want it, you go hit the buy button. That's plain and simple. If you want it.
And I mean, just saying, so as of right now, Uniswap swap would be less than $10. So it's not too crazy this week with the fees.
Yeah, just do 1,000 Pulse Doge buys, even for bigger players that want to bring in. If there's any larger players out there that want to bring in like $1 million, well, maybe just do like $10,000 buys or something, or $5,000 buys, and that's not bad.
Yeah, 10,000 is working. What I know, I guess with 10,000 you don't move the price too much against yourself.
Yeah,
I mean, I can look it up as well.
And honestly, you can essentially lure out the sellers and the free claimers. You hit the buy button, you buy $10,000 worth. Some free claimers come out to play to dump their money for like chicken nuggets at McDonald's, and then boom, you scoop. You hit the buy button again, just like kind of pop the price, let them sell it down, pop the price, sell it down. This whole 100-day claim phase is just an accumulation zone. Like Pulse Doge hasn't even gone on a bull run, so it'd be interesting to see what it actually does when it's ready to when we have like a concrete like fixed supply.
Yeah, so with $10,000, I would move the price to 2%.
Yeah, which isn't terrible. And what about $5,000? And that's just the slippage for you yourself, not necessarily what would happen with the price. That's the price impact for your purchase.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because you never know like how much if there is a limit order or if there's one-sided liquidity. Or what do you mean exactly?
I think that's just because like essentially it's just calculating your average cost. Like it's giving, see how, okay, go back, see how, right here, see how it's giving you the average cost that you'd be paying per pulse Doge. Like it's basically costing you about $1.98 when you do 5,000. Now go change that to 10,000 and you'll see how it changes.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be probably like $2.07 or something, or slightly,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a little less.
So you guys,
And
if you
here
have more questions for Hexline or for Günther here, then this is your time to ask them, because we are getting close to the end of our stream. Günther, I asked you before, do you maybe have questions for Hexline or for me?
Aren't you guys planning some type of planning to put together like a table at a golf conference?
Yeah, golf tournament. And actually,
Yeah.
no, I remember Patrick wanted to talk about that golf tournament. I totally forgot. So why don't we bring it up here? I just put up my screen
Yeah, you
here.
do that, and I will explain it. So we all know that in September there is the PulseCon going on in Las Vegas. PulseCon in Las Vegas from the 6th to the 9th of September. And on the 5th of September, that's actually Labor Day in America, there will be the official kickoff event for the PulseCon, and it is a golf tournament, and we have the whole place for the community the entire day. So it's not that we need to share the spot or something like that. And each and every community has the option to sponsor his own hole, like with the custom flag, where you can put up a table as well, where you can put drinks there or something to eat, or like just merch or information about your company, your coin, your product, your project, whatever. And there will be a 7 a.m. start and a 2 p.m. start with different golf formats. If you're a golfer, you should be, or you might be familiar with that. And there will be a big prize pool of Pulse and Pulse X coins.
So here we will see the 7 a.m. start will receive 2 million PLS and 2 million PLSX, and also the later start will have the same 2 million PLS and 2 million PLSX. So I think that's really interesting.
Yeah,
And this
I'm
goes,
not
of course,
sure
with our.
if those are like the final numbers. This is like the minimum, and we are still working on it. Maybe this prize pools will increase. And just to tell you, if we don't see the pulse chain live at this date, then the prices just are involving a little bit more trust. You will still win Pulse and Pulse X, but you will only receive it once the fork happens.
Well, in our community, we can do that. Patrick, you see here the player and team options, individuals, 7 a.m. for 195, the same for later on. Do you want to go into the prices and what we do with the money?
Go ahead if you want to, but yeah, if you want to check it out, KSB TV/golf. And I mean, what I like the most, for example, is either the bronze or the silver sponsorship, because there you already get your people of 4 players, including the swag bags and the green fees and the chart fees, and you also have the option for that to be the dedicated sponsor for a hole at either the AM or the PM event. And yeah, you have like your whole team and the whole package in that. And if you're not in person there, if you cannot attend, but still you want to be a sponsor, that people see like your flag, and maybe other people from your community product or project are coming there, then you can be, if you go a little more down, only the 36 hole sponsor, that would be the sponsorship of AM and PM event, or like the 18 hole sponsor, which is just like for one of the 2 events.
And then, of course, the gift bag you can also buy for $250, which will include a lot of swag from Crypto Sparbook team and from the golf tournament. And what are we doing with the money that we are collecting? Because you said, of course, we are waiting for a Pulse chain to launch, and only then we can do the tour. So let me zoom out here a little bit. Go to a nice picture like this. When we receive the money, Kaylin is already securing venues for the million Pulse tour, right? We do now not know exactly when it starts, but one day, I made a meme about that as well. One day, Richard Hart will announce PLS launch is there, right? So we do not know exactly when it will be, but money that we receive for the golf tournament will already make sure we can lock down the venues, make marketing in those areas, and so on, because eventually Pulse chain will launch, right?
Yeah, so as of right now, our first events are planned for October, but this will only be the case if we have Pulse chain launched before PulseCon. Because what we need is like a month or two upfront, to make promotion, to make advertisements, to sell the tickets, to get the people engaged and all that stuff. So you need time for that. So we cannot like if Richard says in 3 days Pulse chain launches, we cannot start our tour in 5 days, for example. But I mean, if it would theoretically start in 3 days, then for sure in October there would be our first event.
All right. I think we talked about it all here today. In our stream, talked about the Cubs throwing of the ball throwing at the Cubs game of Big Kirkowski. Had a little bit of fun in the beginning, and then talked a lot about Charged and about PLSD with Günther. Günther, so much. Thank you so much for being here with us and explaining and just sharing your knowledge. I had a lot of fun. And I guess the chat was really wilding as well. We had over 95 viewers, like a new all-time high for our chat, I believe. So this was pretty cool.
Nice.
Line, do you have anything to say?
Yeah, I also wanted to say thank you to you, Günther. And what you can chill your stuff if you want to. Are you on any other streams in this week as well, or what is? What are your plans for the next couple of weeks?
I'm not sure if I have any other streams. I mean, I might have to check my schedule. For a while, it seemed like it was like a stream like every day or like every other day, or sometimes back to back. But people can find me on Twitter, Wolverine_2241. You can also find me on Telegram in the Pulse Doge chat. You guys could share a link to that if you want.
Yep, the link is already in the chat of your Twitter.
Okay, perfect. By the way,
what's the second link?
The claim
the second
phase
link is like the Pulse Dogecoin Telegram.
The claim phase ends in 42 days, 17 hours, 20 minutes, and 51 seconds.
So it was pretty good, no?
You're spot on.
Yeah, you know why? Because yesterday somebody asked me that, and I remembered like the 43 days of yesterday.
Hey, I actually want to take this time to like thank both of you for like everything you guys have done for Hex. You guys have done so much more than most of us, and I think people don't realize that you actually spent your own money for many things to pump other people's bags and didn't get much credit for that from others. So I just want to take this time to say thank you for all the work that you did for us and for everyone.
Thank you so much, Günther.
Thanks a lot. Yeah. Perfect last words, I would say. Thanks for everybody watching today as well. And yeah, I hope we will stream again when Pulse Chain launches, for example. And then we can look at charts again and find out like where local bottoms, local tops might be for Pulse and Pulse X. Also, hopefully we get like to talk about the tokenomics of the incentive token. I'm looking forward for that, for example. And that's it. If there are any further questions, guys,
I've only one more thing to say.
And yeah.
Oh yeah, I thought you were already done there. Sorry to cut you off. I have only one more thing to say. I hope I see you all guys next week on KSB TV, and tomorrow we are on our German YouTube channel, Crypto Sparbook, the same time as today. So we will also see us on Thursday next week and Friday next week. So tune in, English or German. We are doing it all. Thank you guys.
Okay, one more thing.
Of course.
If you guys want a Pulse Doge t-shirt, go into the Pulse Doge Telegram chat and reach out to 100% Swag, because he can take like your favorite like Pulse Doge meme, put it on a T-shirt, and then well, basically just ordering from like Redbubble or whatever. But he could create like the template for you, and then you could just buy that way. That way, it helps him out, but also helps out the brand, and you can market it. Plus, you get like a cool like comfy T-shirt too.
So how long will it take that you have a Pulse Dogecoin T-shirt in your background and on you? You already ordered?
I already ordered a couple T-shirts.
Yeah, I was sure about that.
Yeah, I ordered one that has the Giga Doge logo, and then another one that's the regular Pulse Doge logo. Hey, thanks for having me on, guys. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah,
see you, Günther.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you,
by.
everyone.
And guys, any more questions in the comments? Please don't forget to like and subscribe on both channels. And we see each other soon, tomorrow in German, next week for another market update. That's it. All the best for everybody out there. And bye-bye from my side. Anything else from your side, David?
Same from my side. See you guys.
Bye-bye.